Welcome to the Core Connection. I'm Mira Rubin here with you on Enlightened World Network. And today's topic is winks from the universe. We've all had those experiences where they're just coincidences that leave us shaking our heads. And I think of those as winks from the universe and sort of an affirmation that I'm on the right track in some way or another. Anyway, we get to discuss those today for the wonder that they create. And before we get started, let's just take a minute or two to get present. Let's take a deep breath in through your nose and hold it. And imagine clean, crisp oxygen flooding your lungs, flowing into your bloodstream, nourishing all your cells, all your organs, bringing vital life energy to your body and being. And as you exhale, exhale any tension, stress, negativity, fatigue. And now let's take another deep breath in through your nose and hold it. This time, imagine brilliant, bright light lighting you up from the inside out, illuminating, electrifying, and energizing all your cells, your molecules, your electrons, creating a brilliant beam of light and energy from your heart out into the world. And as you exhale, exhale any remaining tension, stress, negativity, fatigue. And now let's press our palms together. Vigorously rub your hands together to feel the friction, the temperature, the pressure, the motion, the tickling and tingling when you stop. And allow all those sensations to bring you present right here, right now, into this remarkable physical form that enables us to experience life. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So good to be here with you this morning. And today we're looking at the wonderful coincidences, in big air quotes, that occur in our lives. And for me anyway, nurture wonder. I had a very weird, I think these winks are weird. I had what I considered a very weird experience. I guess it was, I'm not sure if it was this week, last week, time blurs, but I've been walking in the mornings and I had gone on a walk and I found, I saw something moving in the distance on, it was in an arboretum and there was a little parking lot. And it was moving on the macadam where the cars would park. And it turned out that it was a tortoise or a turtle. And it was big. It was big. And I was very concerned that it would get mashed. So I picked it up and carried it over to the grass. And it got terrified. It had opened its mouth wide. You know, as I'm walking, it's like, oh my gosh, the speed. I don't know if that's what it was thinking or not, but it was scared, poor thing. And I put it down and it was huddled into its shell and its tail was wrapped around it. And I don't know how long it took to get over the jolt of having moved it. And I was concerned that I had done something not so good for this creature, but I just didn't want to leave it where it could get mashed. And the next day, now I had never seen well, years and years ago I had seen a big turtle, but walking on a lawn somewhere. But this, I hadn't seen a turtle in years and years and years, and it was really only the second one I'd ever seen in the wild. And it was weird too. Its shell was smooth and wet. So anyway, the very next day, I was walking miles distant from where I had found that turtle. And by the side of the road, there was another one that was of similar size, and its shell was crushed and it was dead, and it had been run over by a car. And the weirdness of that struck me so profoundly, that that first of all, I hadn't seen a turtle in years and years and years. And then to see two one day apart, and then to have had the concern about the turtle being crushed and moving it to avoid that, and then finding a turtle far distant from that that had gotten crushed. And it's just such strangeness. And I took it as a wink from the universe saying that I had done the right thing, that I had saved that turtle. But how bizarre, right? Like, what's the likelihood of that? What's the likelihood of that? And so we can see these sorts of things as possible communications from the universe. We've been talking about emotions and the flow of life, and how things that show up in our lives show up as opportunities to heal those things. And what if the things that show up in life show up also as communications? So I remember talking with a client some time back about if the universe were wanting to communicate with us, how might it do so? How might it talk to us? And realizing that there may be signs everywhere around us, there may be communications everywhere around us in the universe, that signs and symbols abound. And I had a friend years ago who would say, everything is symbolic and nothing is symbolic. And I think that maybe we can get carried away with the notion of the symbols and the meaning, and reading all the signs, and we also can miss all kinds of communications too. So there's an element of wonder and delight and deliciousness that I think is available to us as we tune in, that there's information everywhere, that it's not in any way limited to social media or news, that it's available in every dimension of our being, to be paying attention. And I'm listening to this wonderful book by Suzanne Simard called Finding the Mother Tree. And it's very much about paying attention and having beginner's mind, in a way, to be stepping outside of the confines of traditional conventional thought, or pervasive thought, to step outside of, or to suspend those notions, to be able to explore something beyond. And so in this book, Suzanne talks about she was working in the logging industry, forestry, harvesting trees, clear cuts, trying to learn about how to reestablish a forest after an area had been clear cut. Good morning, Rosalind. Welcome. So good to have you here with us this morning. We're talking about winks from the universe as communication and paying attention. And I'm talking about a wonderful book that I'm listening to on Audible called Finding the Mother Tree. And the question that was that Suzanne Simard was working to find an answer to is, what's going on in the forest? Why do these essentially tree plantations that are replanted after an area is clear cut, why were they not thriving? And what she was discovering, she started looking at roots, and what she was discovering was that the plants that were thriving had all kinds of fungal interactions. There were mycorrhizae that were engaging with the roots. And what she discovered is that there's this amazing underground network of communication between plants and fungi and trees, and that there's this deep interplay between species, and that there was a cooperation that was essential for transmitting nutrients and water, nourishment. And what this came from was paying attention, noticing that when a healthy plant, looking at the roots, looking at in places that other people didn't necessarily think to look, looking at the soil, looking at the all the signs that were there, and paying attention. And so today we're talking about winks from the universe, paying attention. And even though we might not know how to interpret what we're seeing, so for instance, with the turtles, I don't know if the turtle itself had meaning. Of course, I looked up the meaning, the spiritual meaning of turtles, but I also was jolted by it enough to say, oh, this is pretty out of the ordinary. So it drew my attention. It was something surprising. And I also saw a coyote, now just sort of trotting down the sidewalk. And honestly, part of me was wondering if I was hallucinating, just because the unlikelihood of seeing a coyote in suburban Philadelphia, is just bizarre. And I don't know the meaning of that, or what the communication was exactly. Everything is symbolic and nothing is symbolic, but that was pretty dramatic. And I guess that there are these signs and symbols and communications and winks from the universe happening all the time that we may or may not recognize. And a lot of people see them, for instance, in license plates, to be driving along and or walking along and see a license plate that has some kind of message on it. Uh, it was very interesting. Someone was telling me the story of a certain number that they had been told about in some kind of reading they had. I think, I don't know if I'm getting the story right, but that this certain number was a communication from the universe that they were on the right track, that everything was okay. And so they had just gone through a big project that was very far reaching, and this had been years and years ago that they had been told about this number that was going to let them know that everything was going to be okay. And they hadn't ever seen this number on a license plate. And then after they completed this project and got it submitted, then they saw this number on a license plate, and that was the entirety of the message, or the entirety of the license plate. Now that's a massive wink from the universe, because they had already been told what that would mean, and they had been on the lookout for that for years and years. And here it was, it showed up. And on the same day, another family member had been given a different number, and the other family member saw the same message. Hello, sirs. Wonderful to have you joining us. You put in more than a few emojis there. Wow. That's a beautiful communication. Thank you. So, winks from the universe, that's what we're talking about. When these events happen, there's, for me anyway, there's a sense of wonder and awe that shows up, a childlike excitement and enthusiasm that sparks something. I don't know if primal is the right word, but sparks something deeply moving when we get to be present to the magic. I guess for me, the magicalness of life is something that I really live for. And these winks from the universe just awaken and activate the connection to that magic, because it's everywhere. It's really everywhere all the time. We just don't necessarily notice it. Like yesterday, when I was walking, one of the things I love to do is take pictures of nature, and not just nature, but I saw these beautiful flowers, and so I stopped and I was forming the frame for the photograph, and a bumblebee popped out of the flower, and it was such a treat. It was such a delightful surprise to see not only the beauty of the flower, but the bumblebee there. And it felt like a gift. And I think that we can experience these gifts all the time. that they're in abundance if we can open our eyes to them, and if we can allow ourselves to bask in them. So I wonder, have you experienced these winks? Is there a wink from the universe? Rosalind says, oh, hello, Bumblebee. Exactly. Hello, Bumblebee. I'm wondering, have you experienced any of these winks that are coming to mind, that moved you, inspired you, awakened you, enlivened you, validated you in some way or another, to say, oh, I'm on the right path? Serge says, blessing to you and your family and your ministry and all that you do, sending love, sending divine love, sending agape love. Thank you, Serge. And deep love and blessings to you as well, and yours. So this joy, maybe these winks enable us to connect again more deeply with something bigger than ourselves, to give us a richer connection to life itself, to the magic. I mean, I don't know about you, but really, it is the magic that that keeps me breathing, I think, and that sparks joy in the deepest sense. Rosalind says, hummingbirds remind me of my mom. When I ask for signs, she shows up as hummingbirds. That's so beautiful, Rosalind. That's, and again, winks, right? It's like, we're here, we're in touch. And Sarah says, holy thanks. Thank you. I remember another, this was massive. It just came to mind. It was my dad's birthday. And no, you know what? I don't remember whether it was my birthday or my dad's birthday, actually, but my dad had passed and I was missing him. And I was thinking about him and thinking, wow, I just wish I could speak with him. And I got a phone call, and on the phone, it was so bizarre. On the phone, it said dad. It was really super bizarre. So the phone rang right after I had been thinking of him. I think it must have been his birthday. And it said dad. And I answered the phone. I said, hello, who is this? And the person said, it's me, dad. And I was shocked. I was shocked. And it turned out that it was a wrong number. But how bizarre, right? Just bizarre. And talk about wink from the universe, to be thinking about someone, to be missing them, and then to have someone call and say, hi, it's dad. That's pretty wild. So we really are in a magical, mystical experience, and we have evidence of it all around us if we could only open our eyes to it and our minds to be willing to see what's there. And Serge says, I believe you 100%. It was just the strangest thing. And, it had me shaking my head for, well, still, it's like, how does something like that happen? Just wild, and delicious. So those are moments that we can savor, and I think that there are many more of those moments available to us than we even recognize. So as we go into the weekend, I invite you to just be open to seeing the magic, to open the eyes of a child, to see through the eyes of a child, and to allow yourself the joy and wonder that's available as we connect to the greater universe and the communications all around us. So that's it for today. I'm Mira Rubin. This is the Core Connection, and I go live each weekday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern on the Enlightened World Network Facebook page and YouTube channel. And I invite you to please like, follow, and share Enlightened World Network and me. The links are in the description. And as always, I'm so grateful to have the opportunity to share this time and space, heart and mind, musings on what it is to be human. So until next time, so much love to you.